Hi, and welcome to the emotional regulation presentation. My name is Daisy Gomez, and I'm an occupational therapy student from the University of Texas Medical Branch. If you have not already, please go ahead and complete the pre-survey that can be found in the description of this video. And with that said, let's move on. So, what do you think emotional regulation means? Do you know what it is? So what is emotional regulation? It is the ability to monitor, evaluate, and modify one's emotional state to achieve a goal. Features of decreased emotional regulation in autism spectrum disorder. This can also be referred to as emotional dysregulation. So some of the features are irritability, poor anger control, temper tantrums, self-injurious behavior, aggression, avoidance, and crying. A study by Sanson et al. On autism and emotional regulation found that deficits in social communication functioning, repetitive behaviors, and sensory abnormalities are significantly related to emotional dysregulation. And they also found an association between poor social abilities, so perspective taking, and emotional dysregulation. So why is emotional regulation important? Maladaptive emotional responses may contribute to impaired functioning and can affect long-term outcomes. Emotional dysregulation can make participating in daily activities difficult. Learning strategies/concepts for emotional regulation now can potentially be helpful in the long run. How can occupational therapy help? Interventions/strategies that target social competence and emotional regulation development. So occupational therapists can teach children with autism how to identify emotions, monitor emotions and their arousal levels if possible, and use strategies to regulate emotions if possible. They can also use visual supports to teach these concepts, video modeling, social stories, and parent education. You can use all of these to help develop emotional regulation skills. So a specific example would be the Incredible 5-point scale. So it is a visual strategy to work on identifying, understanding, and communicating one's emotions. It's developed for those with autism spectrum disorder, and it uses visual cues, makes emotions concrete, and can be individualized for each child. And here is what an Incredible 5-point scale can look like. So you see it's numbered from 1 to 5, and 5 is labeled as I'm going to explode. 4 is I'm getting angry. 3 is I'm a little nervous. 2 is feeling okay, and 1 is calm and relaxed. So this gives the child a visual to look at, point, to what number they're feeling, and it just gives them a visual to be able to describe how they're feeling. This is still an Incredible 5-point scale, but I just want to show you how customizable they can be. So here's the 5-point scale, and then looks/sounds like. So a 5 looks like a very angry face. It feels like a fiery explosion. And when you're feeling like a 5, what you can do is maybe count and walk to try to relax. And to further demonstrate how customizable these can be, say a child really loves dogs, you can use icons of dogs. Just fun, silly things like that. Another way to teach emotional regulation would be the zones of regulation. So this is a curriculum designed to teach self-regulation skills. It teaches individuals how to recognize emotions in themselves and others, categorize emotions into 4 different zones, tools to regulate their emotions, and uses visuals. Here is what those 4 zones look like. So the blue zone looks like sad, bored, tired, sick, And here are some faces to accompany those. We have the green zone, happy, focused, calm, and proud. We have our yellow zone and our red zone. So the curriculum focuses on teaching these zones to the child so they can really identify and share with others how they're feeling. For those in the early childhood stage, this is what zones of regulation activities might look like. So here you have the different zones and then a face for each zone and what tools you can use when you're feeling that certain way. And the child can work with you to identify, what tools they want to use to help them get out of those zones. So what can I do to get out of being in the red zone, which is angry? And here we have a child that drew their own faces and colored them in, and they use this bead to identify, how they're feeling and what zone they're in. And then here are Lego pieces, and the Lego piece is standing on the zone that they're in. And this would be a fun activity to do with friends or with the family to say, hey, I'm in the blue zone, I'm in the green zone, I'm in the middle between the green and the yellow zone. So everyone can work together on identifying their emotions. And here are some more examples. So we have the zones again, and this looks like it's being done in a classroom. So we have different kids' faces, how their faces might look like in the yellow zone. We have the kids' faces and how it might look like in the red zone. And you can really customize this to, your child in your situation. So rather than this being in the classroom, it can be like the whole family puts how their face would look like in the yellow zone. The whole family puts what their face might look like in the red zone. And then here is also kind of teaching emotions. So you see here there's the happy face card, and the child is kind of showing off their happy face to kind of really solidify the meaning of that emotion. Okay, so here are the zones of regulation tools, and these are examples, and this list is not exhaustive. So these are tools to help you get out of certain zones. So say you're in the red zone and you're feeling angry. Which of these tools can you use to get yourself out of the red zone and say back into the green zone, feeling good, calm, and happy? So we have our sensory regulation tools. So swinging, maybe going on a walk. We have our calming regulation tools like deep pressure, deep breathing, counting, and then we have our thinking regulation tools. So the use of social stories and visual schedules. Okay, so sensory differences are associated with emotional dysregulation. So if you watch the sensory processing PowerPoint, you learn that sensory inputs can have calming effects, and they can be embedded into daily routines to help with calming. So this can be provided to you in the form of a sensory diet. Okay, so some activities that can be incorporated into a sensory diet for calming could be deep pressure, lap pads, slow rocking, soft lighting, and you can pause here and read if you'd like. Another way that occupational therapists teach emotional regulation is through social stories. So social stories help individuals participate in and understand social situations. They are effective for decreasing aggression and verbal protests, identifying emotions, following directions, and responding in social situations. Social stories are carefully crafted and include descriptive, directive, perspective, and control sentences. They can include pictures, such as illustrations or real-life images, and they are written at the child's level of understanding. Here is an example of a social story that I will allow you to pause and read through. And here we have video modeling, so learning by watching others. So how this would look would be to have the child watch a video of other kids being sad. So what does their face look like? Why are they sad? What happened? Just dissecting that situation with the child. So it is effective at teaching emotions and generalizing them for children with autism. There was a study that successfully taught happy, sad, scared, angry, nervous, surprised, confused, and disgusted across various scenarios to children with autism. And here is a video example of what video modeling might look like. But unfortunately, I can't play it while I'm recording this, so I will link this video in the description if you're interested in watching. Okay, and now we have our visual supports. So visuals are structured, they demonstrate expectations/tasks, and provide a way to communicate. They are made approachable for visual learners. So children with autism tend to be visual learners. And the visual supports can be shown prior to activities to help prep the child so that they can understand what to expect from the activity. So some examples are activity schedules and cue cards. And here are some examples of a activity schedule and some cue cards. And like I said earlier, these just provide the child with what to expect. There's some level of predictability, and doing this can help lessen their anxiety about things because they can know what to expect. And lastly, we have co-regulation. So those with autism tend to rely on others to regulate their emotions. So what is co-regulation? It is warm and responsive interactions that provide the support, coaching, and modeling children need to understand, express, and modulate their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Co-regulation tips. So name the emotion and validate the feeling. So that might look like saying, hey, you look very angry right now, and I understand why you're angry. I wouldn't like it if my sister stole my toys either. Okay, so that would be naming the emotion and validating the feeling. So next is give choices or solve problems together. Or, using like the first then visual. So first, this example here is first eat and then you can play. So that's modifying how you give the instruction to the child if they don't understand you the first time, or try to rephrase the instruction in a different way. Okay, and the next point is use visuals to help with understanding concepts. And next is modeling the self-regulation. So breathe together, or both of you engage in a calming activity together. Okay, so do you know anyone who might benefit from learning to identify emotions in themselves and others, and, if possible, how to regulate their emotions with tools personalized to their needs? Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Go ahead and fill out the post survey, and I have resources for this video lecture. So if you're interested in using those or looking through them, they're in the description box. The link is there in the description box. And I also created a video kind of going through them and pretty much just explaining their purpose. Right, thank you and have a good day.